Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at Reklev's Charizard with the Mega Lopunny deck. Obviously, we all saw this on Twitter, so I don't even need to explain the deck list, but we will cover the deck list as per normal in the description below, and also there'll be a timestamp for it. Additionally, there'll also be the games that we'll play and the outro and what I think of the deck. So of course, we are mainly focusing around the Darkzard this time, but we do have a one of the Mega Charizard. Now, I will explain my, not really concern, but a bit unusual, because obviously, you know, like Mega Charizard X focus lists tend to do, obviously, more energy. This one is playing 6 fire energy, which I think is fine, because it's only the one Mega Charizard. But if you was to put a second Charizard in here, as in the Mega, you would probably need to bump it to about 8, I would say, but other than that, I've really had no issues like looking at this list. Obviously, we are playing the Mega Lopunny as a 2-2 line. Obviously, if you've seen towards the list, you already know this. But I've not made any changes to towards the list. This is his exact 60 that he took to Stuttgart. And to be honest, it makes a lot of sense, because obviously Mega Lopunny deals with Cornerstone and the like. Obviously, we've got the 3-2-2 Pidgeot line, which I think is fine, although it's a bit odd playing 2 Pidgeots, or Pidgeottos, I think, but, you know, I guess that plays around item locks, so it's not too bad. And with the 3 copies of Dawn, it does kind of help in the item lock situation, which is slowly starting to creep back into the format. Obviously, we're still playing the Oricorio. This is just for the Megazard mainly. We also do have the option of Fire Wing for 110 against Fire Weak Pokemon, but I don't think that's really going to come up. But it's something to think about if you think about it properly anyway. Obviously, we are playing the Psyduck in here, because obviously we're not a Dusknoir focused deck. We do need the Psyduck. And yeah, this little guy is very useful. Obviously, there is a way to counter this card, which is Klefki, but at the end of the day, you know, like, it can get a bit spicy if the opponent does happen to play Klefki. Obviously, against the Mega Lopunny Dusknoir deck, it is going to get a little bit rough, but we'll explain that. Well, I'll explain my reasoning as to what I think could be upgraded about this deck in the deck list. Speaking of that, let's go to the deck list and let's have a quick look. And welcome to the deck list. So, obviously, I know it's towards, you know, design and everything, but there is always something to improve with these sorts of lists, I think. And one of the first immediate issues I noticed is no stadium bump. Now, obviously, that's not a problem for half the cards in this deck, but Team Rocket's Watchtower is starting to come back into the format, as we already know. Obviously, something like Jamming Tower wouldn't be a major concern, and if someone drops an Artisan, that'd be pretty nice. But ultimately, I think just relying on the Charmander's Blazing Destruction and the Pidgeot's Blustery Wind attack could get a little bit dicey, so I think a stadium bump would be a really nice addition in here. Additionally, I've sort of come to the conclusion that a one-of Fan Rotom would be pretty sick in this list. Obviously, that means Dawn gets a little less value, but at the end of the day, you're still helping to set up your board. And of course, Fan Rotom is a really good card to have in the early game. My only other thought is, I don't really see the reasoning for Tatsugiri, and I'd argue you could probably cut that for the Golduck, which has the same ability as the Psyduck, but obviously it's a stage 1, so which means Klefki can't affect it. I don't know, just something to think about, but that's just my take on it. Obviously, I don't think this list needs to change. It's not an urgent change, but obviously if something like Neutralization Zone starts to creep back into the format, or obviously Team Rocket's Watchtower starts to see a lot more play, I think a Stadium Bump would be worth considering in this list. So obviously there's 3 2-2 Charmander, Charizard, Dark Charizard at least. Then, of course, the Mega, we do have one of those in here as well. 3 Pidgeys, 2 Pidgeotto, 2 Pidgeot, 2 Buneary, 2 Mega Lopunny, 1 Psyduck, 1 Tatsugiri, 1 Fez, and 1 Oricorio. Then, of course, 3 Dawn, 3 Lilies, 3 Boss, which is surprisingly high, and to be honest, I agree with it. 2 Turo, 2 Iono, 4 Buddy Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Rare Candy, 1 Superior Energy Retrieval, 1 Super Rod, 1 Unfair Stamp as our Ace Spec, 1 Counter Catcher, 6 Fire, and 4 Jet. And like I said, I think these sorts of considerations, you know, like they could be seen as good changes, you know, like obviously the Dawn count I think could be adjusted to 2. I don't think you need to play 3. I would love to see a 4th Lilies in this list. would be another thing I'd probably change as what would want to change as well. And like I said, with the Psyduck being able to be played around by Klefki Jet Energy, maybe the Golduck could be considered. So there's a lot of consideration here, including the Stadium Bump. But at the end of the day, we only get to play 60 cards in a deck, so you've got to, you know, take your losses where you can. Obviously, the Jet Energy is really nice for playing around any controlling sort of approach, which is really nice. I don't think that count needs to change. It should stay at 4. The double Turo is very odd with 4 Jet Energy. I don't think you need 2 Turo in the list, so that could be a potential cut. But again, this is just me, you know, like, thinking at the end of the day. You don't have to do it. I mean, he made day 2 with this list, so, you know, like, he did reasonably well with it. But yeah, I don't think this is a, like... I don't think this is a deck that needs improvement. I'm just saying, like, you could improve it, so to speak. But anyway, let's get into a match and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. I nearly clicked on casual then. I was on casual the other day doing a daily. And my half-awake brain was like, huh? Oh, this looks like ranked, but no, it's ranked, so don't worry. Like I said, in the decklist part, you don't have to change this list, I don't think, but there's plenty of, like, reasonable additions you could add. Like I said, a Stadium Bump would probably go a long way. What was the other one? Golduck would be another probably good one to consider, because obviously that plays around Klefki Jet Energy. You know, that sort of approach, but we'll have to see how we do with that. So we're going first or second? We are going second, interestingly enough. Toad School, that's fine. We're not playing Night Stretcher, which is another card you could consider in this list. Handheld Fan, discarding... what? Metal Energy? What the heck is this? Okay, I mean, if you're going to Gentle Slap me, I want to see that happen, mate. That is a really good top deck. We will take that. So, I think... what do we want to grab in this? Because obviously we've got Dawn, which is really nice. So, we definitely want to back up Charmander. Do I want to attach and retreat into Tatsugiri, though? We might as well make use of it. Because we can Dawn for whatever we don't want. But we can also Dawn for a Pidgey. And we kind of need a Pidgey. So, I think I'll just go for Pidgey now. Do I want to play this Dawn now? I don't think I do. I think I just attach. Because, you know, like, we can set up the Lopunny later. I don't think it's a major concern. So I'm just going to pass. Because we can always Dawn for a Charmeleon and take out this Toedscool. Or whatever else we can with Boss. And top deck the Lillies. Not bad at all. So Metal Energy doesn't really scream to me a lot. Relicanth is interesting. I suspect this is Archaladon. With some spicy tech. You don't see this very often. Carmine. Yeah. Why is he playing that one? This is not the correct Duraludon, mate. I mean, maybe it's the new card and he wants to play it, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to judge him for that, so that's that. So let's go for Pidgeotto. We're going to play Dawn here, I think. I think it's correct to play Dawn. So we'll go Charmeleon, Buneary, and Charizard X. Because at least we can take out the Toedscool, which is pretty nice. I'll also bench the Buneary, and we will steady Fire Breathing, take out the Toedscool. Which, because we're a Stage 1 Pokemon, we do play around the Pokemon League HQ. I'm not bothered with that going there. I can always move it or discard it with the Megazard. Not a problem, my friend. And there's a fire at our prizes. I've completely forgotten to prize check. To be fair, the brain is still, you know, waking up. I know it's like, well, when you saw the deck list, it would have been around about 11:30 my time, but, well, I had a lion today. I got a lion for the first time in what feels like months. So, you know, you got to make use of it whilst you can. Does he have the Archaladon? Because if he does, it's not the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, we can just go Pidgeot for Megazard. Well, Rare Candy and then get the Megazard going. To be fair, it'd probably be better to swing with the Dark Side here. But we'll see what happens. There's a Vessel. They've got plenty of metal in there, so if they are thinning for, you know, Archaladon, it doesn't really make much sense. And just a pass. Oh dear. Well, that's going to end badly for you then, isn't it, mate? Because I have the Charizard X in hand. So we might as well do a quick prize check whilst we're here, because, you know, I don't want to waste this opponent's time too much. So, no eyes on Charmanders. That's fine. We prized a Pidgey. We prized one of our Pidgeots. So wait, no, man, ignore me. Other than that, like, we prized our Lillies, which is fun. Well, no, did we play Lillies? Or is there Lillies in hand? Yeah, the Lillies in hand. I forgot. We've got one Jet Energy in the prize as well. So it's not looking too bad for prizing, you know. Like, it's pretty respectable. I'm thinning 3 out just so we have the option. I'll then evolve to Pidgeot. I'm not going to bother evolving the Mega because I don't think it's correct. And I don't need Lilies. And, well, yeah, he's just conceded. Whilst I was thinking there. Fair enough. That's game 1. Let's go to game 2. What the... Hold on a minute. What is this? Oh yeah, that's that balloon festival thing. I hate this. This looks ugly. You can even tell they're 2D images, man. They're not even trying. Anyway, less about my graphics design knowledge. Let's go to a game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That went pretty reasonably well, I would say. Like, we put the early pressure on thanks to the Charmeleon. He did try and disrupt us with the stadium. But ultimately, it just feels like, you know, like we can afford to deal with those sorts of stadiums. But what if that was a Pokemon League HQ, which can be pretty rough, you know? So this opening hand would probably signal to them we're playing the Dust, or the, as I call it, the Exploding Bunnies deck, which is the Mega Lopunny with Dust Noir. There is another cool name that a fellow content creator named Ace Trainer Jester, he came up with. He came up with Dusk Bunnies, a bit like Dust Bunnies, as in like what you do when you clean your house or something. We'll start the Oricorio, at least we can attack with it, I guess, but still. It'd take us 3 manual attachments, but that's not the point. But no, like, this is a pretty okay going second hand. Tapu Bulu, Teal'c Ogapon, this is probably Venusaur, if I had to make a guess. That's fine, at least we get value off of that. But yeah, we're not going to be attacking with Oricorio. Unless we get a bomb hand off of Iono for next turn, we're not attacking with Oricorio in this video, I'm afraid. As much as I'd love to, because everyone knows that I love to do my meme attacks. I mean, like I said, I've done some weird meme attacks on this channel, and, well, you all seem to appreciate it. It's like in the Dragon Ball Flareon video the other day. I took a knockout on a Bidoo with Bite with a Dreepy, so, you know, I even took a knockout with Dracloak's Dragon Headbutt because I was that desperate, but still, you know, like, the option's there, so you might as well do it. But no, this opening hand's not great, but obviously we do have the Iono to bail us out, so I can always attach to the Oricorio. It's not the end of the world, but I would appreciate if I had a better hand, but we'll soon find out. It's only got the one in there, just the grass, that's fine. And yep, he's just going to touch the Teal'c. Fair enough, my friend. Let's see how we do. And that top deck is beautiful. So let's go Charmander and Buneary, I think. Because Pidgeot, whilst it is going to be relevant, is quite the target for this matchup. Let's have a look at the prizes as well. So we've got 1 Charmander available. That's, well, 3 Charmanders available, so that's good. We've not prized any of the Charizards. We've prized 1... No, we haven't. Ignore me. Like I said, the braid is still computing, so do bear with me. That's fine. And fire energy count looks good. We've not prized any fire, so that's pretty good. I'm going to touch the Oricorio and Iono, because at least then I can retreat the Oricorio, just in case. That's not particularly great. I may just have to leave this in the active, though, and not have much of a choice, because at the end of the day, we can go Rare Candy Zard and take this out, but at the same time, they can go evolve this into Meganium. So, I don't know, do I leave this in the active? Do I give them the bunny as, you know, like, bait, I guess? It's hard to decide here. I think I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it in the active. This could be a risk, but, you know, what choice do I really have? There's not many, let's put it that way. Regigigas, okay, that's a massive threat in this matchup. So 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. They can manually attach and get to 180. If they have an E-switch, they can take out the Oricorio. There's the Bayleaf, but they've not got the Stadium yet. So this could be good for us. This could be good. I'm debating going Jet Energy into the Buneary and Lillie's for 8. And hoping we hit the Mega Lopunny. That could probably be a good idea this early on. Plus, it's part of the deck, so we've got to use it, you know. I'm debating that, because obviously it protects our Oricorio. I've just got to hope they don't hit Stadium plus Meganium. And, well, there's the Stadium. And I've got the Arven as well, so that means we're losing this Oricorio. That feels bad. Ultra Ball and Bravery Charm. Okay, that does play around the Lopunny, which is annoying, but we can counter catch her, so it's not the end of the world. So we can counter catch one of the Tilmask Ogopons on the bench. Alternatively, I could knock out the Meganium, because they've only got a 1-card hand, but, you know. It's not looking great for us. I'm going to have to promote this Charmander, though. And with no Oricorio, I can't exactly do much in this regard. Okay, there's the Ultra Ball, so we can get the swing off. So I'm going to go Ultra Ball away Lilies and the Fire Energy. We're going to grab ourselves the Bunny. Evolve to the Bunny. Jet the Bunny. Counter Catcher. You. Charmeleon. Iono. Can't ask for a better hand than that. That's good, we can get another Charmander established. Do I want to Ultra Ball for the Pidgey? Is the question. I don't think I do at this point, because at the end of the day, they're probably going to focus it down. I mean, they may go through the Lopunny, but the Lopunny we can Turo, so I think it's just correct to swing here. I think it's correct to swing. Down goes one of the Tilmasks. Obviously, we do have to be careful if they do manage to find something, and well, there's Unfair Stamp. That'd been pretty nice to have. Or to have. I did notice it was prized, I forgot to mention it, that's all. The Bravery Charm inclusions are going to be an issue, however. They're going to be a real issue, because obviously we can't really deal with a Brave... Like, we can deal with these, but they need to take another prize, or we need to put Megazard in play. But we'll see about that. Energy Switch. So what's their damage now? I think they're hitting 330 exactly. So hold on. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330. Yeah, they've well and truly got it because of the Meganium. That does mean, though, we can go into Zard, the Dark Zard, but I think it's correct here to go into the Megazard here, because we can always try and find another candy off of, well, we can find a candy off of the Unfair Stamp. Okay, now it's going to be a bit interesting. So, I think I'd definitely go for the Megazard here. But the issue is, if I go for that, they don't need a lot to take us out with a Tilmask on the bench. So what I'm thinking is, I go with Darkzard. And I know that's a risk, but I don't have much of a choice here. I go with Darkzard, because then I can Unfair Stamp them. As much as it is a risk, given that it is Grass Week, we only have one prize left, and there's not much I can do about it. So I'm going to thin these out for our Unfair Stamp. I'm going to attach here, and Stamp. So obviously we do take out this Tilmask. There's the Psyduck, but we don't need that. I'm going to Ultra Ball these guys away, because we don't need them. I can grab my Fez as well and get some extra draw. Anything I want to rod back, I think I do. So I'm gonna Fez first and then rod back, because that will see cards that we might want. There's a Dawn, that's pretty good. So we'll go Super Rod, you, and you, because we can always win the game with that if need be. Because obviously we can go counter catch onto anything that's 2-prizer. So we'll go for Dawn for turn. Grab you, and the Mega. Thin those out. We'll put the Bunny down. It doesn't matter if we put this down, because we have the Charmander here. And then Burn It Out as 330, hope for the best. So how many energy do they need on this Tilmask to actually do it? I think they only need 2, if memory serves. So they've just got to find an energy, basically, I think. They could also go Gigas. They need 2 for that as well. But they could whiff it. They need Energy Switch plus Manual Attachment. And just a pass. Okay. This is where I'd love to have Pidgey down. Well, Pidgeot down. So let's Buddy Poffin. We'll grab ourselves the Pidgey. What I'm actually going to do to protect my Zard is I'm going to do this. Now, do I Lilies or Dawn? I can do either. But I think it might be better to do Lilies because we could find Boss. Okay, no Boss. That's fine, though. I can thin this just to get it out of the way. I can... Do I want to bench this Charmander? It doesn't usually matter. We'll just go for Gale Frost 230. We're forcing them to find Boss, Energy, and... Well, Boss... They only need Boss and Energy, thinking about it. But if they don't get it this turn, we win with the Dark Zard. He's got the Arven. Does he play Prime Catcher? We've not seen an Ace spec. But if he plays Prime, he has to find a way to gust this lot up. And he can't counter Catcher because we're both on 1 prize. So I win with Dark Zard. So yeah, that was a surprising turnaround. We went from 5 prizes, and we somehow won it. So we're not going to waste this guy's time. We're just going to retreat the bunny into the Zard and gobble up that Teal Mascogapon. Whew, that was a bit stressful, I must admit. But there we go. That's the end of that one. That went pretty well. I mean, I would have liked to have had Pidgeot in that matchup, but obviously I don't know how aggressive they were going to be, or if they played a Genesect, so, you know. But no, that went pretty well. We saw no evidence of a Mega Venusaur, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, pretty smooth game. Let's go to the next one. And welcome back to Game 3, I believe it is, because, again, I'm losing track. My brain is not in the most active state right now. But no, we managed to turn that around. They got the 3 prize knockout on the Mega Lopunny, but thanks to Unfair Stamp and also putting the Dark Zard to deal with the Teal Mascogapon, we was able to just completely disrupt their strategy. So even though it looked really dicey, and to be honest, I didn't think I was going to win that, we did manage to turn it around. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Alright, starting the Pidgey or the Oricorio. The Oricorio is bulkier in case it's a donk deck. Let's see what it is. Charmander, okay. There's Flareon on the sleeve, so that's why I was a bit debating over what to put in the active. Buddy Poffin. Could this be a Zard Mirror? No, this is a Dunsparce Zard. That's very uncommon, but, you know, I respect the hustle. Why are you playing this one? No one plays this one anymore, mate. Enriching Energy. Oh, that's spicy. Enriching Energy off the top is pretty nice. That's a pretty good start for the opponent. Let's see if we can get ourselves going ourselves. So we'll bench the Pidgey and we'll Lilies, because this hand is dead otherwise. That's pretty good. So we don't need Psyduck in this matchup. I see no evidence of a, you know, of what we need to do with, like Duskulls and the like. So I don't see a reason to put down the Psyduck. I don't know if I want to Ultra Ball though, because this hand is dead regardless, but Ultra Ball could get us a little bit closer to stuff. I think for now, I'll just pass. It's not the end of the world. Interesting to see the Dunsparce Zard though. You don't see this very often. You really don't. I do want to try it, but like, committing your Ace Spec to Enriching Energy just feels a little bit rough. I've seen it at a League Challenge before, like Enriching Zard, as I sometimes call it as well. I also call it the Dunzard, because it's quite a funny name. But, you know, like, I don't see, like, you know, I don't see what the appeal is myself. Like, I know the draw's really nice and everything, but you're committing your Ace Spec to not Maximum Belt or Unfair Stamp, so to me that just feels a little bit odd. He's really drawing cards. There's the Candy into the Dark Zard. But you don't take a knockout here. And technically in the mirror, if I have Rare Candy, this is bad for you. Obviously, he doesn't know I don't have Rare Candy, but that's not the point. You don't really want to be taking the first swing with Darkzard that isn't on a Darkzard, if that makes sense. He should really be trying to, you know, limit my options. He shouldn't be attacking with this Darkzard. But hey, I don't make decisions around here. It's the player's choice at the end of the day. Because the important thing is in this mirror is you want to be the one hitting the Zard first. Because then you're forcing Turos and stuff like that. You don't want to be swinging with the Zard first. Especially into a non-Zard. But, you know, that's just my take on it. And Burning Darkness. That is completely fine. A top decker Jet Energy would be really nice, because I can go for that Fez. Well, looks like I called it. I'm never beating the allegations here. We'll get rid of a Psyduck and a Boss. We'll grab the Lopunny. Evolve the Lopunny, because we can go for the Fez now. Jet. Boss the Fez. And Gale Frost 230. Take out the Fez. Obviously, we are putting a 3-prizer in play, but the Zard can't get anywhere close to it. There's one of our bosses and the Turo at the prizes. That's good. We can also Turo this Mega Lopunny. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, I think my opponent really shouldn't have committed to the Zard attack there. Like, yeah, I'm 10 damage off, but, you know, I don't think it's correct. And also, if he doesn't find a way... I was about to say, if he doesn't evolve this one, we can actually boss it with Gale Thrust, because Gale Thrust does 60+. We could have bossed this and taken it out. We can also do the same to this Dunsparce. But no, but at this point, we're probably going to want a Turo, because, you know, we're going to be taking a massive hit here. We're going to be taking 240. And that's assuming he doesn't play things like Defiance Band. But you can see what I mean. It's like Dragonbolt Flareon that I've also featured recently. Okay, taking out the Pidgey. That's fair enough. Or the Pidgeotto. That's fair enough. Flip the script. Yeah, top deck of Rare Candy would be beautiful. Enhanced Hammer. Very odd tech, but sure. I get the reasoning for it, but I don't think you need that in that Zard build, personally. But now you're going on to odd prizes, which, again, yeah, this is a Mega, and you could redeem yourself for that. But I know the value of the Pidgeot is really good here, but you literally could deal with this and take 2 prizes. You want to go 2-2-2. You don't want to go 1-3-2. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to promote Oricorio, because we can always Turo this. It's not the end of the world. Let's see what we get. There's Fez. Fez is pretty good off the top. So we'll Fez for 3. There's Candy. Ooh. Yeah, this is really good, because now we can go for the Fez. We can go for the Fez. We can let them do what they need to do. We can even do the Mega Lopunny, Turo it afterwards. Yeah, this feels really good. But then again, I want to Turo this Oricorio, because the Oricorio is the main 2-prizer here. So what I'm thinking is, we attach the Mega Lopunny, Turo the Oricorio. We're not going to put this thing down, just to bear in mind. Rare Candy into the Zard. Obviously, we are hitting the Charizard in the active, which is the only bad thing about this. We can't take out the Fez this turn, but we are putting pressure on our opponent. And that's the important thing. Gale Thrust. Because we can always find second Turo. If memory serves, second Turo was in the deck, so, you know, we can find it. If he goes for boss on my Fez, I go for boss on his Fez. Or I take out this Charizard. He's got the Turo as well, fair enough. That's fine, though. We can deal with that. That does mean he could play Counter Catcher, though. He still has access to that. But again, because I'm ahead on the prize race, he is going to be behind severely here. Because I'll just retreat this, go into the Darkzard, gust the Fez, and take it out. And then I only need 2 prize cards. There's the other Zard. That's what I mean. The Charizard mirror can be really, like, hard at times. especially if you've not got things like Pidgeot established. But, you know, it can get dicey, so it's very important to, like, consider the mirror. Because the mirror can happen. Charizard is seeing a lot more play than it used to. Like, yeah, Charizard did see a lot of play before, but that was back when it first came out with the Obsidian Flames format. So I'm just going to retreat into my Darkzard, boss the Fez, and Burning Darkness 210, take it out. And that's another 2 prize cards. There's Rare Candy. So we could potentially win with the what's he called? We could win with the Megazard here. Because we can go Dawn for the Megazard. He's going for the boss. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That is completely fine, my friend. In fact, no, we're in Fire Energy short, actually. So I'm going to promote the Darkzard first, because we can jet into the Megazard. And, well, that is game. We just Dawn for the Megazard. Hello, mate. How are you today? We'll just thin the rest of these out. It doesn't usually matter. So we'll Rare Candy into the Megazard. Oh, wait, hold on. No, we are actually in energy short. Hold on. I can't jet this into the active yet. I've just got to hope he doesn't have boss then. I've just realised that. Okay. Actually, no, we do, because we can just use Oricorio to put it on. Yeah, so we do that instead. We Oricorio to it. Jet the Megazard. Yeah, we had game. And then we go for the big fat Inferno X. And discard all 4 fire energy. For 360 damage and the game. I completely forgot about Oricorio, I'll be honest. For some reason, my brain forgot that Oricorio can put it on the Megazard. I don't know why, but still, that is 3 wins. We will take that. Although I still don't like this really weird, you know, balloon thing. But, well, that will probably be over by the time this video goes out anyway. But no, this list feels really good and really consistent. You know, like, it does obviously have a few flaws, which, you know, I think even Tord would say that it could probably do with a couple of changes. You know, like, I'm not a Tord expert, you know, I don't know the man personally. But no, he made a really good deck here. I really liked the way this deck ran. Like I said, my considerations would be a Stadium Bump, possibly Golduck to replace the Tatsugiri. I never had a need for the Tatsugiri, personally. It's nice to have, but you have the Pidgeot engine, which I think is just ultimately better. Yes, Tatsugiri is a basic, but, you know, I just don't think having the space for the Tatsugiri when you can play the Golduck to play around the Klefki is probably better. But no, generally this list ran like a trooper. It feels really good to play. And to be honest, I'm really glad I got to play it. So thank you very much, Tord, for your spicy deck building. Anyway, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed Tord's Charizard Bunny deck, and I'll see you next time.